The first time I went to a remand facility, which is a bit different than a jail. I'm not sure if you know the difference.
Don't.
A jail, so if you're sentenced for 2 years, you go to a penitentiary. If you're sentenced for under 2 years, you go to what's colloquially known as a jail. A remand facility is where people go before they have a trial, before they're found guilty of anything. You can stay in remand facilities for years waiting for a trial. And when inmates are brought to court, they stay in remand facilities in the basement of the courthouse, basically, where they're brought for the day, they have their court appearance, they wait, eventually they get brought back. I remember my first time in a remand facility below the Brampton Courthouse, which is where I was working with Legal Aid Ontario. I used to go down in the mornings, see the new arrests, take their information, get numbers of people to call to see if they could act as a surety, what we call bailing them out, getting their phone numbers, which was often quite difficult because, of course, your cell phones are seized and you don't have access to your contacts unless you remember the number. You can't really call anybody. My first time there, I remember the smell of it. I remember that it just smelled so bad. I remember meeting with people, getting their numbers, seeing them up in court a couple of hours later, remembering where they had been just a few minutes before, remembering that a lot of the guards really use like an animal terminology. They talk about having feedings when the food was brought. I think that has happened in a couple of jails that I've been in as well. It's sort of that like hurting people, that sort of mentality. And what I remember about that is I went up to the lawyer's lounge shortly after, during the lunch break, and I was talking with a defense counsel who I knew in the lawyer's lounge, and he said, "Well, you got your Hep C shot, right, before you came in?" And I said, "No," and I burst out laughing. And the reason I found it funny was I had done a huge research project in law school about communicable diseases in prisons, in jails. And, you know, the HIV and AIDS rate is, I think, 20 times higher than the average population. Hep C, rampant, completely inhumane treatment of people. And it was really one of those moments that struck me, the difference between academics and reality, that I knew this. I knew that Hep C was rampant. I knew that HIV was rampant, that full-blown AIDS was rampant. But it didn't occur to me to actually do anything about it, that would actually be the case. It didn't click in my mind.